If your agency doesn't have a real closing system or a smooth onboarding process, you're going to lose clients even if you're good at giving them results. Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Marcos Brands, and I'm going to be showing you guys my exact two-call close system and my onboarding system to onboard clients without any friction. I'm just going to jump straight into it. All right, this is my exact two-call closing process and onboarding system step by step. I made it on Miro so that you guys can visually see how I actually do this. So this first part is actually the landing page, and this is what you should have. You should have a VSL or Typeform. If you don't know what a VSL is, it's just landing pages that have a video as part of their landing page, and this is typically like 1 to 2 minutes long. It's just explaining what your agency does, what it offers, basic pain points to your potential clients, what they're expected to see when they book the call, and what they're expected to see in the next 90 days or a month with working with you. Or you can even have a type form where it's just asking questions of how much you're making per month. This is actually the next part, which is questions to automatically qualify these leads trying to book in. So either if you have a VSL or a type form, you want to make sure you have this implemented so you're not wasting time on getting on these calls and unqualified leads. So questions like this would be how much they're making per month, revenue, how much they're spending on ads, what's their budget. And the good thing about this is that let's say they pick out of the 4 options, A, B, C, or D. A would be less than 10K, B would be 10K, C would be 50K, etc., etc. If they pick A, which is less than 10K, it would redirect them to a different page, which would not allow them to schedule a call with you. And then let's say a lead is actually qualified, they booked a call. And in this first call, I call it the discovery call. And in this discovery call, I'm just understanding the pain points. I'm looking into their business. So I'm seeing their performance for the last year, for the past 3 months, for the past month. I'm also seeing their mentality, if they're even ready to scale, if they're actually willing to reinvest back into the business. If they're not mentally, ready to scale, then you're going to be wasting time on a client that's just going to churn and burn. You also want to ask problems with previous agencies, which is very important. It's going to show you why and how you can do better than the previous agencies. Either they had like a high retainer or they just didn't produce the results that the potential client wanted. And then you want to run them through what you can do for them, kind of like your offer. If you run meta ads, if you run Google ads, if you do email and SMS marketing, you want to show them everything that you can do. And then you want to see if it's a good fit. You can kind of tell by, how they're responding, if they have any objections, or just really, you're kind of just feeling the call and kind of understanding how they're responding. And in this call, I'm not even going to pitch. And I'm going to save the pitching for the next call, which is actually to see if they're even qualified. If they're not qualified, I'm not even going to follow through with them. I'm just going to send them an email telling them that we're not a good fit. If they are qualified based on that discovery call, what I do is this is actually my closing call. And in this call, I'm just going to recap on the pain points from the discovery and use that to make a recommended offer, which is basically my setup fee, commission, and retainers and stuff like that, based on their budget and based on how high of a client they are, either if they're high ticket, middle ticket, or low ticket clients. And in this closing call, I give them 3 options. So I give them a minimal offer, my recommended offer, and a premium offer. In the minimal offer, I'm just giving like a few services that I provide, which wouldn't match their problems. In my recommended offer, it's going to use everything that I got from that discovery call, other pain points, and everything that they need in this recommended offer. And then I have a premium offer, which is the most expensive one, which just has a bunch of our services that is just probably too expensive for them, but psychologically they would want to pick the middle offer because it's giving them everything that they need at what they think is a good price. So you always want to recommend the middle option based on their goals. And then for the price of these offers, you kind of just want to see from their budget, like I said earlier. If it's a low ticket client, probably charging them like 500 to 750. If they're a middle ticket, maybe like 1K to 2K. If they're higher ticket, it can really range from 10K to like 100K. Like, it really depends like the scale of that client. I also want to make a quick side note that you should create an offer that is unique to your agency. You want to make one that stands out from all these other agencies and kind of give like a no-brainer offer. So one like free trial for the first month. Giving an offer like this is going to remove the risk factor from your client, from the potential client, because think about it like this: if you're in a client's shoes, you're going to be putting like full risk and paying all this money up front, Rather, if you had this free trial, you would feel much more interested in working with that agency. And that's because you're not putting anything up front and you're kind of just telling them, you don't have to believe in me yet, but you're going to let the results speak for themselves. And after that first month of actually delivering results within that free trial, they'll feel comfortably paying you after that first month, and they'll build that trust with you and want to continue working with you, which is exactly what you want. You want to retain your clients and not let them churn and burn. Back to the system. Now, after that, you presented your three options and you obviously recommended the middle option, which is the best offer. You're going to close them, right? So after they're closed, this is actually where the onboarding system starts. And this is everything you need to do in the next 24 to 48 hours. The first part of this onboarding system is actually sending them an email on that close call. So right after you guys agreed on the payment and whatever else it is, you want to send them an email with the invoice, an onboarding form, a contract, and optional an onboarding Loom video, which will kind of automate the onboarding process that I will explain later. Sending them an email on call with everything that they need to fill out will make you look professional and improve that trustability and authority that you have. And then after the email is sent and the payment is received, you have two options. You either send the onboarding Loom video in that email, which will automate the onboarding process, or if you don't want to do that, you can just on that close call, you want to make sure you set up that next call within the next 24 to 48 hours, and it's going to be the onboarding call. And this is, you're going to make them share their screen, walk them through the onboarding for Meta and Shopify. All right, and real quick, I'm going to show you guys how you can onboard yourself through Meta Ads and Shopify. All right, once you're in Meta or Ads Manager or business.facebook, you're going to make sure you go to settings for your client, and you're going to walk them through exactly what I'm going to walk you through right now. So you're going to tell them to go to partners. You're going to tell them to go to the top right and click add, and you're going to give a partner access to your assets. And over here, you're going to give them your business ID, where you can find at business info, and it's going to be blurred out, but this should be your business ID. You're going to give that to them, and it's going to ask you what assets do you want them to assign to you. And in here, you want to make sure they give you access to their Facebook pages, their ad accounts, their Instagram pages, their data sets or pixels, and you want to make sure you have full control of all of that. This is so that you have full access to everything and you don't have to come back here and have to redo it again. All right, and once you've done that, you want to make sure you go to pages. You're going to go to your client's Facebook page and click assign people, and you're going to assign yourself and give yourself full control. Then you want to go to ad accounts and then go to your client's ad account and do the same thing, assign yourself. And then lastly, you want to go down to data sources, data sets, and pixels. You're going to go to your client's data set and do the same thing, assign yourself. And then after you've done that, I'm going to walk you through how you can onboard yourself through Shopify. And then once you're in partners.shopify.com, you're going to go to add store, go to request to access to collaborator store. You're going to put your client's URL right here. And then for permissions, you're going to click select all, but you're going to declick all these finances and these taxes and policy things. You want to make sure that your client feels comfortable with giving you access to all of this. Everything else you're probably going to need access to, probably besides like charge credit card and charge vaulted card. Just make sure you look through everything and have everything that you need here. And then once you've done that, you're gonna go all the way down and you're gonna request access to store, and then it's gonna send them an email. It's gonna send your client an email, and all they have to do is click accept, and then you're gonna be in. If your client has never ran ads before, you want to make sure you set them up with their pixel. And the way to do that is you're gonna go to the Shopify dashboard, go to apps, and search out Facebook and Instagram. And then once you're here, you're gonna tell your client to connect their Facebook account. Once they've done that, you're gonna go to settings. You're gonna scroll down to share data, and this is where they're gonna set up their pixel. This ID should match up with the same pixel ID or data set that you have in Meta Ads, and this should always be at maximum so that it's tracking every single landing page view, every purchases. Make sure it's just at maximum so you can track everything. If you're doing this onboarding call, you also want to mix it with this kickoff call. If you did the onboarding Loom video, just on the close call, schedule a kickoff call, and in this kickoff call, This is very important because you want to go over everything that you need. So the KPIs, which is basically how much are they making the product and how much are they selling it for. So you know when you run your ads, how much room you have to actually get a purchase within Meta ads. You also want to go over expectations within the next 90 days. You also want to tell them that when you're starting the Meta ads, that it's going to take a while for the pixel to actually load the data. Stuff like that is actually very important to go over with your client so that they know what to expect. And then you also want to go over goals. So goals over the next month, over the next 3 months. This is actually very important as well because you want to make sure you and your client are on the same page, know what, we're heading towards and what the goal is. And another thing I do is I make a schedule with them on this kickoff call for the next 90 days. So if they are on a drop basis, I would make a schedule with them so that me and my client are on the same page. If your client keeps the store open 24/7, you can still make the schedule and then schedule what days either there's new product releases, either there's discount codes or whatever there is in the next 90 days. You want to make sure you and your client are on the same page. And then lastly, I make a communication channel, which is either through Slack, Discord, Instagram, or iMessage, whatever the client prefers. This is where me and my team are going to be with the client so that, we're as well in the same page. And then after you have all this, you kind of just go to the fulfillment. And this is really where you're just going to run your ads, deliver results. And then after you deliver results, what I do for my clients is I send them monthly reports. So I tell them how much I spent in the last month for ads and how much I made through the ads. And then I kind of calculate the profit that they made between ad spend and revenue through Shopify. And then alongside that, I also send an invoice with the monthly report because psychologically, if they see that they profited a bunch and made a bunch through Meta ads, they'll be happy to pay that invoice and it'll build that trust that you're kind of doing their finances for them and kind of giving them an overhead or overview of what happened the last month, which is perfect. And then you want to make sure you do this every month because it builds trustability with the client. And then it also tells you if there's been like an uptrend between the last 3 months or if there's been a downtrend, and then you kind of make your decisions on what to do after that. And then you also want to make sure for these monthly reports, you want to go more in depth as time goes on. So like you want to calculate MER, customer acquisition rate, new customer acquisition rate, stuff like that. That is very important as well that you want to look at instead of just basing it off ROAS. That will help you get better results for your clients. All right, I forgot to give you the outro, but thank y'all for watching. If y'all want to see some more videos like this, please subscribe. Follow the Instagram in the bio as well. That will help a lot. And if I missed out on anything, let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys.